Well, it's a little bit noisy now because it's outside the old city. The old city is right there. Cannot see the wall, but believe me, behind it, small hill. It's the walls of the city. Lion's Gate, the eastern part of the city, and we are heading to Garden of Gethsemane, which is right in front of you. On the background you might hear the muezzin calling the Muslims to pray, but what I want you to see is that they are excavating in front of the Garden of Gethsemane, and they found out evidence from the Byzantine time. Churches that been here at the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th century, and that's going to be the new entrance to Garden of Gethsemane. And what they found there too is a mikveh, which is a Jewish ritual bath, and that tells us that that place used to be a Jewish place, and Gethsemane is the place that you're pressing olive oil into oil, and the one who's doing it must be pure. Then to find a mikveh is almost an obvious thing for that. But what is Garden of Gethsemane? Well, first of all, let's talk about Jesus that visiting now Jerusalem. The dilemma is Mount of Olives is part of Jerusalem or not, and what I believe is that part was. That in that case, he lived in Jerusalem, but not inside the old city, not inside the walls of the city. He took care of himself. Then in that matter, after the Last Supper, he went with the disciples, some of the disciples, to here. Let me show it to you from here. They're not supposed to enter, but you can see the excavations. And all right, to cross the road in that junction is like a dead wish. Then let me first cross the road safely, and that video is dedicated to, yes, you're right. No, thank you very much. That tour is dedicated to Deana and EJ. Sorry, Deana and Art. EJ, you're always in my mind. Then Deana and Art, we are visiting together at the Garden of Gethsemane. A few minutes before they will close it. The tourists are here, but only 2,000 tourists, not more than that. Sadly, I'm still not working. Although that's the entrance, we will enter through the exit, mainly because there are not a lot of tourists now. Maslomcha? Lot of tourists? No. All right. One day. Then let us go through the most important garden in the world. And Deana and Art, I'm blessing you right here. You can see some olive trees. Some of them, they said, from the time of Jesus. Lots of doubts. But let me tell you something about an olive tree. If you will cut it, it will grow again. If you will cut it, it will grow again. Then why not to believe? Then those few branches will be the future olive tree in the Garden of Gethsemane. Look at the walls. Now you can see the walls of the city, the eastern wall of the city, and you can see a little bit the Dome of the Rock, and next to it to the right you can see that golden gate. That's where we believe that Jesus entered to the city in Palm Sunday procession, and I'm doing in a way Palm Sunday procession. And we know that Anna and Joachim met the angel, met himself after the angel told Joachim, you're gonna have a child. I'm talking about Mary, Saint Mary. Then Jesus was here. It was midnight. He told an hour before to the disciples for the last time that he will die and he will resurrect in 3 days. And they didn't believe him. They didn't understand it. And I can understand why they didn't understand it. It's like someone will tell you that he's from Mars. Then he came to here. He knew that he will be betrayed by Judas. He knew that this is the mission. He knew that that's what's going to happen. He knew that. And still, it's an agony moment. The disciples, instead of praying with him, fell asleep. The only one who came to help him was an angel. And if it's okay by you, first let me go to the church, because they're going to close the church soon, and then they will kick me out. And on the way out, I will show you more of the beautiful garden. Now, the church is new, 1924, but it was based on Crusader and Byzantine churches. Why it happens like that? Because Jerusalem been destroyed so many times. Then, in that matter, its building destroyed, been destroyed so many times, and 12 nations built that. Let's look for English. I don't feel. All right, yeah. There you can see who actually built it. That's why one of the names is gone, is the All Nation Church. One of the names of the church, All Nation Church. And look at the beautiful other doors. Inside I won't be able to talk if there are people, but I will bless the cross. And if you want to know how can I bless your crosses and how can you get it, go into the description of that video and look for the link of Buy Me a Coffee and click on it, and you will get all the information. And on the way, please subscribe my channel, and let's go into the church. What are we gonna see? On the ceiling you will see some domes, 12 nations, but you will see that you're part of the garden, and it's dark and it's agony, and one of the names of their church is the Agony Church. And at the floor I will show you under glass the 4th century mosaic floor to show you that that church was old in a way, and the rock that Jesus was praying on it. Let's see if we can actually visit it. Those are the domes. Look at the beautiful window. Alabaster. Deana and Art, this is for you, but it's actually for everyone. Thank you. Thanks to Betty. This is the 4th century mosaic floor. this is the rock that Jesus was praying on it. Amazing, isn't it? Here you can see Judas' kiss. Judas betraying Jesus. Let's follow Jerusalem cross, please. Jerusalem cross is a cross that it's unique to Jerusalem. You can see here the main cross, which is Jerusalem itself, the center of the wood, and around it 4 small crosses. Can be the 4 Gospels, together 5 stigmatas, whatever you can choose, but the idea is that Jerusalem is the center of the word. That the visitor centers that they are building now, and you can say that they didn't finish building it at November 2021. Some evidence from the oldest churches that have been here, mainly the Byzantine and Crusaders as well, I must say. Very close to us is the Crusader church. And let's go back to the garden. Look how beautiful it is. Look at the blue sky. Soon I want you to see the differences between young trees and old trees, and you will understand the age of them. But let me take a picture for myself, because it's such a spiritual place. And my Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt. From Matthew 26. And this is the sentence. I mean, think about Jesus here alone. He knows that this is his mission still. You can see the agony and the human nature of him. I don't want to do that, but this is my job. I'm going to do that. Oh Jesus, in deepest night and agony, you spoke these words of trust and surrender to God, the Father in Gethsemane, in love and gratitude. I want to say, in times of fear and distress, my Father, I do not understand you, but I trust you. Let's say it again. My Father, I do not understand you, but I trust you. Amazing, isn't it? Amazing. And I've been blessed, because I can be here almost every day. Well, almost every day because I'm not working, sadly. There are not a lot of tourists here, and I'm not usually working with groups. I'm working especially with individual tourists, and they are not really welcome to Israel now. All right, we talked about old trees and new trees. Now look at San Francisco's. We've been here at 2014, and you can see how small is the olive tree. And he's not the only pope who actually visits the garden. In 1964, another pope visited the garden. He blessed us with a new tree, and I will show you soon his tree. This is another part. This is part of the rock there, that Jesus was praying on it. But because it's a Catholic church, then some of my families, which are not Catholic, are entering into the church, into the garden, but not into the church, and they're blessing themselves right here. And I'm gonna do that too, with a Jerusalem cross, and I'm blessing everyone. Deana and Art, if I can add, and EJ and Patty, and I want to bless everyone who came with me to that, follow me through that videos. You're part of my family. Then in that case, let's bless ourselves here. But I promised you 1964 tree, and here it is, San Paulo. And this is his tree. I'm blessing you too. So funny. She's a pastor, as I believe, and she used the word yalla yalla. Yalla yalla, it's in Arabic. Let's go, let's go. Look at the word peace, and please pray for Israel and for Palestine and for everyone that they will find a way to work together and to serve God together without any fear, without any problems. To understand that everyone is a unique person and he deserves to worship his God in his way. Thank you for being with me at the Garden of Gethsemane. See you in my next video, and don't forget to subscribe me, please.